We stand together.
We stand together.
We pray together.
We pray together.
We defend the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Church defenders.
United we stand.
From every nation.
Healing our land. One church.
One faith.
One king.
One king forever.
Jesus Christ our Savior.
Now and forever.
That draft also speaks about there has to be designated places of worship, isn't it?
Yeah.
That and those places of worship have to be safe, according to health and safety standards.
If you were to place him here to say, Honorable Ref, as a PhD scholar, I mean, we expect you to come up with empirical evidence, to support your assertions.
They're selling uniforms.
They're selling. Where have you heard of a uniform at the city church sold at the likes of your normal retail stores?
Welcome to Church Defenders Podcast, and I'm your host, Pastor Masunyane. Here, this is a platform whereby we sit with pastors, church leaders from all sectors, and we speak about matters that affect the body of Christ here in South Africa. You know that there has been growing attempts by the CRL Rights Commission that they want to push in legislation that will therefore regulate the church. And this has been concerning. And we as the South African Church Defenders have been speaking about this matter, that the church is not for state interference, and everything concerning the church, it is for the church. And there is no way that there can be a discussion about the church and the church is not involved. So welcome to our season 2 of Church Defenders Podcast. And this time we are just going to be diving deep into everything about the CRL Rights Commission, what they are doing currently, what they want to do, and why this conversation matters, and why the church has to stand and speak up at this particular time. Because the time that you are living in, it is a time whereby this calls for us to be able to stand up and speak, because if we don't speak about this matter, definitely we are going to perish. But today I'm not alone. I'm with the servant of God, Pastor Lucas Nkosi, and he's going to be joining us into this conversation, and we're going to be having him, and as we're going to be engaging and talking about what the CRL is pushing for, why it's unconstitutional, and why we must try to avoid it, and why the church has to push back. Pastor Lucas, good to see you.
Greetings, Pastor Masunyane. Thank you for having me again on season 2.
On season 2, the conversation still continues, and now it is even more demanding that we talk about this, because definitely if we don't talk about this, who is going to talk about it?
Yeah,
Yes.
these things affect us as the church, and therefore we should talk about them as the church. I see a lot of people, even those who hardly shows up at church, wanting their own bites, in a space that is not their space, and then saying things that they are not even aware of, like your sound bites from mainstream media and other quarters of society and so on. But who can speak better about the church than the people who are in the church, and especially leaders, who participate into the life of the church? So it's very much important. We can't be silent now. We have to speak, and we can't be sending other people to speak on behalf of us on things they know nothing about or they are not clued up about.
That is true.
So it's so very much important that we should ensure that we speak up.
You know, you are starting this conversation on a very high note because you are speaking about those who are not inside the church but want to tell us on how we should run our affairs inside the church.
Yeah, it's like your neighbor, you know, then trying to run the affairs of your own home.
Sure.
And members of the home must not say anything. Your neighbor trying to be an expert, you know, on matters in your Masunyaneng family to say, but no, Masunyaneng must run these things like this. And, you know, we must regulate here and there. We must enforce this and that in the Masunyaneng space.
That is true.
When is the you know, the family itself that must make sure that it put its house in order. And even on the aspect of order, when we say we need order, who defines that order? Shouldn't be that family to say, okay, this is how we define order.
You know, when we last had our conversation, which basically trended on social media and received a lot of traction.
Yeah.
And I believe that from that conversation, I remember asking you one critical question.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll ever forget that question because that is the question that literally raised everybody's eyebrows and ears. And, you know, everybody was like, what are they saying? Is this even possible?
Yeah.
And the question was, is the CRL a threat to the church in South Africa? Or is what the CRL proposing a threat to the church in South Africa? And I want us to go back there.
Yeah.
Do you still believe that what the CRL is proposing is a threat to the church in South Africa?
Yeah, it's really a threat in the church in South Africa. And they are trying to play smart, you know, this time around because they saw there's been a backlash, you know, against their first attempt in your 2017 report and all those things between 2014 to 2018 in the previous term of the current chairperson, Umam Togo Kaluva.
Yes.
So they're like, okay, let's just change the strategy. So what they've done now, they just change the labels. But as for the mission and the purpose is still the same. So it sounds different. You know, today's new weights like your Section 22 committee and new weights like self-regulation because they saw that, okay, you like the weight self-regulation. But if you analyze their usage of the word self-regulation, is still what they proposed in the 2017 report.
My goodness. Yeah.
And then they've changed words like your peer review council into this Christian practitioners for accountability, something thing that they're pushing now through your Section 22. Is the concepts are still the same. The strategy is still the same. They just changed the words. And then because they were dealing with us directly, they saw that, okay, these are church people. So use church faces, you know, faces.
Yeah.
And then if you package it, it's more like your repackaging. It's still the same, you know, container.
Like a different package.
Yeah, in a different
My
package.
goodness,
If it's your washing powder,
Yes.
the content are still the same. We
Yeah.
just change the packaging
Sure.
and said improved with a new stain removal and what. But
it's
if you
still the
are to
same
lab
thing.
test this same thing,
Still works
it's
the
still
same
the
way.
same thing.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So right now we are dealing with this CRL Rights Commission and the Section 22 committee.
Yeah.
What do you think about this Section 22? I remember when we did our our first march to the Union Building, and you made your speech.
Yeah.
And you said nothing about us without us.
Very true.
And you argued the formation of that Section 22 committee.
Yeah.
And I remember that you called it bogus.
Yeah, it's bogus.
And, how was it elected? How was it nominated? Who are those people who are sitting in that Section 22? Where are they coming from? Who are they representing? Are they having a followership? Are they people of influence? Are they church people as we are talking right now? Do they understand the dynamics of the church, how the church works? Or are they people from outside and who are just coming in to say, no, do this, do that, like I don't know, even your boss is better because they are with you there. But these people that you are dealing with, they are not even people who attend church. Some of them who are in that Section 22, right? They don't represent anybody. So what is your thinking about this Section 22? Do you think that this Section 22 was properly instituted? Do you think that this Section 22 has followed the CRL Act of, was it 2006?
2002.
2002. Do you think that they have followed the process in nominating and appointing those who are sitting in this Section 22 committee? I know I'm asking you a lot of questions, but it's been a while. It's been a while, so we need to come up to speed.
No, it's like I say, it's still the same old story, but in a new package. So people think, okay, this time around things are new and everything. That's why even today they are still talking about the petrol, drinking, the snakes, and so on. Your 2015 material.
Something that happened 10 years ago.
Over 10 years ago. It's still about petrols and now. And if you can imagine, when last did you hear breaking news, another pastor petrol, another pastor doom. References are made on old scripts and old things, but it's still the same thing. Are
you saying that they are recycling old news?
They're just
in order for them to validate whatever that they want to push in.
Even now, things like, okay, I remember in 2015, I think it was Pastor Leswo Daniels, where they, in that session with him, they said something like, we are galloping. The chairperson said, we are galloping towards a legislation. Don't tell us about we see your qualification, your credentials. You have a PhD in what, and we see all those qualifications.
But she speaks about legislation. Then after she speaks about legislation, then she speaks about self-regulation. Has there ever been a legislation in something that has to do with self-regulation? Isn't it self-regulation is supposed to be about you and I, pastors, regulating ourselves within something that doesn't need parliament, the law, because 2025, last year, February, she said this thing fell off the table. I'm here to bring it back on the table. We are saying that Parliament must pass legislation, that there must be legislation that will see how the Christian sector will then function. Do you think that is there a deception with what the CRL is doing? Are they somehow trying to deceive in order for them to push in legislation whereby people are not even going to be aware?
Now, one thing that I like, especially with the chairperson, is because she's been consistent. Although in her, presentation, it's a mixture of denialism and so on, but, she's consistent. She is exactly where she's been
in 2017, 2016.
In 2017 report. She hasn't changed her script. She's just changed her wording of things. Like I say now, it's like law. Let's use Christian leaders to push this thing. But now and then she's like, okay, we need to enforce legislation. Of currently, you remember the at the Kaya Labafundi there in KZN.
Where she went, remember, she went at Kwamapumulo.
Yeah, Kwamapumulo.
She went there with
the MEC.
The MEC of social development. And she said, where are the church defenders? Right? And she's like, Abe Kola, Bala, I'm a keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
And at that time, she was trying to justify why there has to be a Section 22 and why there has to be regulation.
Yeah.
Do you think, is she fair in doing that?
No, she likes calling, for the likes of church defenders. But try it. Let church defenders take her on to say, we are coming your way. They can't handle that. I'm still waiting for a day.
Yes.
Where she's like, guys, we are here in the boardroom. Or maybe church defenders invite her to a particular place to say, let's whatever that you've been saying on camera, on media, and the very media houses that she's been challenging to say, okay, where are they? Abekola. To say, hey, SABC, come here. We are with church defenders face to face. I mean,
Yes.
Of late, I was a pastor there in KZN. Just a T-shirt.
Sure.
A church defenders T-shirt.
Intimidated
The
whole Section 22 committee.
Section 22 committee.
My goodness.
A T-shirt with words from the Bible. The so-called pastors, church leaders, intimidated by South African, church defenders, contending for the faith. By the way, that phrase, it's a verse.
Yes.
So if a verse intimidate the pastors, chuck you out of that space because of a T-shirt. Now, what about the engagement? And now and then, with their sound bites on media, it's all about, no, but church defenders, hey, they're like this, they're pushing a narrative and so on and so on. Bring church defenders in the same room with the likes of Dr. Maloma, Umam Kogo Kaluva, in the same space. They can come. There's one some of a situation where I was in a program on SAFM.
Yes.
Just after the match there at Union Building.
Yes.
On the next day, where they learned of what I've presented
On SAFM.
On SAFM.
Yeah.
About the march and what was happening. Guess what?
Sure.
Guess what?
What happened?
CRL called SAFM to challenge the presenter who was handling
The interview.
The interview, to say they brought a person who's against them. And therefore, the disciplinary hearing was leveled. Against that presenter for hosting me, as if we are pushing a narrative and an agenda and things like that. And they were playing like, no, we don't know what you're talking about. I confronted even the head of communications to say, no, this is this is what has happened. As well as the producer then to say, okay, what's happening? And said, there's a complaint level against you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, we speak about people who are supposed to be public, right?
Yeah, public.
Everything that they are supposed to be they are not a private entity. They are a public platform.
Yeah.
They are a public institution. You said it once that the CRL is for us.
It's for us.
The CRL is not for Togom Konazikaluva. The CRL is not of Dr. John Maloma and the rest. The CRL, it is for us because it is a Chapter 9 institution. But why is it that they want to do things secretly and privately and without being open for scrutiny? Right now, as we speak, their Facebook page, right? They closed comments on their Facebook page. How can a public institution like the CRL, Chapter 9 institution, close comments? It doesn't make sense. Is it because they don't want criticism?
Yeah, now, if you are honest, because they are talking about accountability, those are their favorite words. They like words like your accountability. We are pushing for accountability.
Yeah.
We are pushing for being honest, being transparent. Now, how do you choose words like transparency, accountability, honestly, and close comments on that page?
Doesn't make sense.
Because you know what they are doing?
Yeah.
They are trying to control the narrative. Truth is truth, whether people contradict it and so on. That's something you will see even on, the other day on a South African Church Defenders Facebook page, where I saw the CRL commenting on the South African Church Defenders. And guess what? The South African Church Defenders did not remove that comment. Because if it's true, put it out there. Handle the heat. So why dilly-dally?
Why do you want
hide
to
and
hide?
seek? Even these things that are happening, why are they hiding?
Just like
these consultations, why not broadcast them to say, okay, this is what is happening, this is what is happening? They always comment. And here's another thing that I've observed as well with the previous, when Parliament called them, with that document of their presentation. And
the draft that was released last year in December, right?
Yeah, not the draft, but their presentation in Parliament, where Parliament called them to say, let's hear you out.
Yes, their presentation.
I think around May and so on, with their lawyer, talking, and Dr. Mkhize was challenging even that presentation. And it was so funny when your advocate, their advocate, was saying, but this document on this corner is wrongly, written. But when she was presenting it, she was like, okay, worked up, as in this is on par. Now, when she's challenged back, when I observed body language, she felt like, no, maybe hiding under the table because it was hot when the chairperson, Dr. Mkhize, was challenging her back with whatever that she had presented, confidently so. And it's like, no, it's badly written, and you are like, okay, now that you are challenged, it's badly written. And if this thing is true, why close comments?
Why?
Because you are dealing with the truth. Leave people to comment. I remember I challenged one of them, at the media, at the communication, to say, no, guys, why do you close the comments? That page is not a private page.
The CRL Rights Commission has closed comments on their social media platforms, not only on Facebook, by the way, on TikTok as well. They have closed comments. So basically they're saying whatever the public, we are a public institution, but we don't want public feedback. That's what they're basically
saying. So they are a law unto themselves.
They are a law unto themselves. And that is why we even see with this CRL Section 22 committee that they don't even want to allow other people who are against whatever they are proposing to be there inside their meetings. And I noticed, another thing which was shocking to me when we speak about this Section 22 committee consultations that were happening in KZN, they booked a very big place. They booked a very big hall. They had prepared, you will see on the picture, they had prepared the chairs, everything, and it was less than about 38 pastors in that consultation room. And for me, it became, but they said they represent about 40
Where are those millions?
million people who fall, who agree with what they are proposing. So I was like, but if you represent 40 million, those people were supposed to be there. Even 100 could have been there. But the place was empty. Who is the CRL Rights Commission representing?
At least, okay,
Yeah.
for argument's sake,
Yeah.
at least for argument's sake,
Yeah.
they would have brought their 45 million people to those
fill up the place.
outnumber
Yeah,
the
to show-
dissenting voices.
You know, I look at South African church defenders
Yeah.
meetings.
Yeah.
South African church defenders meetings, they get so full, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And remember, we only started last year,
last
right?
year, yeah.
But look, the meetings get full. The CRL has been there for many years.
Yeah.
And they say they have 40 million people
Yeah,
represented within that section 22.
Yeah.
Where was the 40 million people in that consultation
Yeah.
room in KZN?
Yeah, that's a good one.
You see?
At least they would have filled up that space,
Yeah.
you know, with those who are for them.
For them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And remember now, even during those consultations, they don't even have their people who agree
with them.
With
them.
That is the thing.
Here's an interesting
There
one.
was even a protest outside because people, they don't agree with whatever that they're doing.
Yeah, and here's an interesting one.
Yeah.
You saw even that meeting, the last meeting in Parliament, because the Cocta Portfolio Committee said, okay, we've been listening to people who are against what you're proposing.
Yeah.
Bring people who agree with you for the session.
Yeah.
And guess what? Even on that session, it was predominantly
People
the
who
leaders
are
who are against them.
Yes.
And the funny part on that funny part was the SACC
Yes. Who's part of the
Section
22 committee. They raised about 8 concerns.
Yeah.
8 concerns.
You are in the committee, the very Section 22 committee, and you are raising concern about, it's like you are a member of the family, and an outsider is asking you about your family, and you are standing up as well as a member
And you
of
say,
the very family.
I don't know what is happening in my
And you
family.
say, I don't know what is happening in my
But
family.
there is something-
You sleep and wake up in the same family.
There's something unusual about what is happening in my family.
Yeah.
That is what we see, and that is what we have recognized, right?
Yeah.
By what the SACC, the South African Council
of
of
Churches.
Churches, right? And Rev Molo and
Yeah.
the one who represents the SACC
Yeah.
in that Section 22 committee.
Yeah.
Because it looks like decisions are being made and people who are supposed to be kept up to speed with whatever that is happening, they are also clueless.
Yeah,
on
they are
what
clueless. And
on
it's
what
so
is
interesting.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah, because of now, you are part of a Section 22. You are clueless. You are questioning. And I've seen even on their presentation to Parliament last time, they've highlighted like the likes of SACC, and they speak of their representation in terms of numbers. But still, SACC
Yeah.
is asking questions. Yet they are citing them to say they are part of the committee.
But look at it, Pastor. You speak about the SACC,
Yeah.
but there was also other organizations, right? Based on what we are discussing,
Yeah.
that were there in Parliament, who basically rejected Kaluva
Yeah.
and her bogus Section 22 committee and said, we don't want this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The IFCC. Remember, the IFCC was always on the lips of the chairperson.
Yeah.
We have major Christian bodies like the SACC,
Yeah.
like the IFCC.
Yeah.
And now the IFCC said, wait, we are not part of that thing. don't involve us. We are not part of that thing. We don't know what is happening in that thing. Stop mentioning us. We are not part of that thing. And that's when you realize to say, who is supporting this? If people who she has always mentioned to say they are in support, they are the ones who are saying, but here there's some abnormalities here. There's things that we have concerns about. There are things that we don't support and we don't embrace this. You know, who is it? Like you look at like the fathers of faith, like your Bishop Musa Sono, your Adbosov, Gert Koza of the IFCC. They came out and they said, this thing
Yeah.
We don't agree with it.
And now here's an interesting one from their parliament presentation. They are saying, here are the claims they made in parliament in Cocta. You know, they say, okay, on committee members, they are saying South African Council of Churches with 16 million. You know, and then they say the source for the 16 million is your South African Council of Churches. Now, so that Reverend Oscar, they say Oscar Madlala, you see, he's there representing SACC. This SACC of 16 million is questioning them.
Yes.
So why are they asking questions? Instead of saying, yes, we endorse, as the 16 million member SACC,
But
we endorse this section 22. They get to parliament is say, okay, tell us.
What do you say?
How do you agree with CRL and section 22? They get there in the platform to say, speak for yourself, SACC. You are in the section 22. SACC steps there and said, no, we have 8 consents about this section 22. What are you talking about? And here's an interesting one, as well as Dr. Maloma, you know.
Tisa.
Yeah, Tisa. You know, these are interesting people. You know, they are in. You look at Tisa and their numbers. Now, they are not telling us, you know, about Tisa. Tisa, it said, it represents 2.5 million.
Yeah.
And the source is Tisa. Now, having said that, to say it's Tisa, but they don't tell us that of the 2.5 million, the millions that are represented by AFM,
And
which
AOG.
is, you know, Assemblies of God, what happened to that figure? So this figure, if we are to minus representation, this 2.5 number will drop.
Yeah.
Because 3, I think
Major
it was
bodies,
3
yeah.
major bodies.
Full gospel from the
Yeah, even full gospel.
Yeah.
You know, so this becomes incorrect because you have to minus your AFM representation is somewhere around 1 point something million. You have to minus Assemblies of God. They are somewhere roughly in millions and so on.
Let's be clear on this.
You know, so you wonder.
that CRL does not have the numbers.
Yeah.
The CRL Rights Commission and that Section 22 committee, they don't have these numbers.
Yeah.
They don't have this 40 million.
Yeah.
They have to be honest because if they had this 40 million, this 40 million was going to be represented in their consultation process.
Where were they?
Where were the 40 million?
Where
you
were they?
tell us
I
that
mean,
you have
case
40
and
million.
N-men.
You failed to fill up a hall of 200 people, just 200 people.
Yeah.
It was just bottle of water on every.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought that.
Okay, maybe those numbers were those bottle of water. The numbers here.
It was the bottle of water.
Yeah. Maybe the numbers here that we're
my
talking
goodness.
about were those bottles of water. Because we've been wondering, where are the numbers?
When the time comes whereby you must show us the numbers,
The numbers.
you cannot show us the numbers.
But bottles of water.
But bottles of water. And now remember, they have this draft self-regulatory framework. And many pastors, you know, they are not aware of it or they have not read it. Maybe they've heard about it, but I don't think that they've heard it. But I just want us to just talk about it a little bit to say, what exactly does the draft framework propose? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What does it propose?
Yeah, no, according to them, you know, and especially after learning, I mean, to be honest, you know, I Gabi, you know, when somebody holds particular credentials,
Yeah.
and they are an academic, we hold them to a particular standard.
That is true.
Yeah, especially I've been around academics and interface with them, you know, especially on issues of research and so on. Now, once you say I have a PhD, I'm a PhD,
Yeah.
then I measure you according to your peers. Now, when I've learned that, you know, a PhD like my honorable reverend, Maloma, is a PhD. I was expecting to see PhD even in the drafting, of this final draft regulatory this thing. I didn't see it because of there was a point where each was saying, okay, on this part, who drafted what in that draft, regulatory framework. Now to arrive at number 3, which is problem statement, and read what he refers to as a problem statement.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was ashamed. I even questioned the credentials. I had to go in and verify, if it's PhD or an honorary, doctorate, and only to find that indeed it's a legitimate PhD. His credentials are legitimate, PhD. But when I read, I'm like, man, where's the PhD in this? Because of he's highlighting things like these are rumors. Things like well recognized diversity of churches, divergent views on spiritual interpretation. I'm like, but man, what are you talking about? Now, the one that took me even is number 3.7 of problem statement. When he's saying blatant abuse of congregation is rife.
But remember, sorry to interject, right? Isn't it that during a press conference, I quote, the CRL Rights Commission chairperson, when they asked her, do you still have people who are coming to report abuse to the CRL? And she answered, she said, it's not relatively the victims, but it is the relatives of the victims who are going to the CRL to report.
You see.
So how does it work? So you are saying that the relatives, right, are the ones who are coming to report to the CRL about abuse. But the abuse, those who are saying that they are victims are not coming to report to the CRL. But here's the thing. You want to establish this body, and this body, it is the body that you're saying, after we establish this body, these victims will go to that body and report. They will have confidence to report. But still, you are also still saying that within the CRL, those victims are not coming. It is the relatives of the victims.
They are very tricky. It's a very tricky situation. Even here, you are like, is rife. And what he calls rife, it says where some are, not where some are fed hazardous and other illegal, harmful, abusive substances. If you were to place him here to say, Honorable Ref, as a PhD scholar, I mean, we expect you to come up with empirical evidence, to support your assertions. I can take him to task. I can take him to task to say, Reverend Maloma, give me your research that qualified that statement. He will go back to the 2015 and everything. But there, in Islam, we say is rife, meaning this is currently happening. What is happening. That is dishonest. And like a person who's pushing for accountability, if I can say account for every problem statement you've written here, he will never go scot-free. He will never, satisfy this, as well as issues like your guidelines, autonomy with responsibility. There's this other narrative and notion to say, some of us who are opposed to this, we are refusing accountability, we are refusing responsibility, therefore that's why we are pushing. He's even calling us pushback. By the way, he still owes. There at Mill Park, I said to them that you owe us, you insulted us on public television, you must go back to public television and withdraw, because you can't disrespect us. And the next thing say, okay, be part of the exercise and so on. That must be corrected first. That's accountability. You know, on rumors and speculations and saying whatever they like, you know, and without accounting. We are for responsibility. We've been saying it time and time again to say we are pushing for the law and accountability. But what we are rejecting is how the CRL, you know, is representing these words like you account. What do they mean by accountability? Their concept of self-regulation. We don't want the self-regulation as defined by the CRL and their Section 22 committee. But self-regulation, in a true sense of that word, self-regulation. They want this council of some form. I mean, that council...
Accountability and ethics.
That council, it's a duplication. Let's put it frankly. This exercise is just putting money...
Wasteful expenditure.
Yeah, it's just putting money...
In their pockets.
In their pockets. This Section 22 committee is unnecessary. Whatever that they are doing has been done before. And the only plus that is within this committee is at least is job creation for them, for Dr. Maloma and others. On that, at least, you know.
So you're saying that actually they've gotten some employment.
Yeah, it's just a project, you know, to put reason. Because sometimes you must have reason. You don't want to give them money to say no, or maybe to give them some holiday rest. I mean, predominant. Some of them are old people. So a good holiday will do good, you know, on them. You know, to say, have a good place, sleep in those expensive, you know, five-star hotels, you know, don't trip. You know, that's the value.
Maybe that's why they even said to Parliament, no. Allow the consultations to happen. Because they know that they need the 5-star.
Yeah, those 5-star. Yeah, they may be angry, but that's the truth of it. If we are to rightfully put it in terms of value. Because in terms of value, this exercise doesn't have value. Because it's something that has been done before, but rebranded, like I say, you know, with different labels. It has been done. This exercise has been done. And let me highlight again. It's also a copy of something that we did, the drama.
All right.
Yeah, with the likes
national...
your religious summit at Rema. You know, sometimes an original and an imitation, they are not the same. You know, this is just an imitation of something that we wanted to do, and which was truly of, you know, responding to that February 14, 2018 thing about we must develop a charter for religious, you know, accountability and so on, even the code of conduct. Because that one, it was legit. Because it was the people in the sector who has appointed their own leadership by the choice of the people, not this handpicking. That you pick the people you like, you know.
Isn't it that the former chairperson of the Section 22 committee said it straight to say that Togum Kwanas Kaluva told him to say, my ancestors told you that you're going to be the one to help me to push in this thing.
You see, that's interesting.
It's a very interesting thing, you know. And the interesting part is that that the chairperson of the CRL already knew that she was going to be appointed as the chairperson, and before she was appointed.
You see?
How did that happen?
You see?
That appointment.
We need accountability. And you know, by
and they talk about ethics. They say we are speaking about ethics. The pastors are refusing ethical behavior.
What's ethical about this?
You know, but on their side, when they are supposed to be transparent, we are still waiting for the documents that they said they're going to put on their website right? We are still waiting for the videos that they said it's AI that South African church defenders have used AI to discredit them, and they're gonna put those videos and give them to the media. Has the CRL Rights Commission ever put out those AI videos that the South African church defenders have compiled as a disinformation campaign against the CRL? We are waiting for those AI videos for you to put them on your social media platforms and to give them to the media houses. Because if we talk about people who are refusing accountability and who do not have ethical behavior, we are speaking about those who are part of this bogus Section 22 committee and its chairperson.
Now you are reminding me of something. During that week, after the week before, they said, no, next week, we are going to put them. We'll put the originals. And we were like waiting.
We are waiting for the originals.
With anticipation because, to say, okay, something big is coming from the CRL. The CRL is going to disprove whatever SACD
has
presented through their AI. Guess what happened? Instead of providing that original, then they design your podcast type of thing with a journalist who's not factual, who's not being covered in these stories. I mean, you could see knowledge gaps, even in her line of questioning and interviewing the chairperson to say, no, like we said, we did not want that type of we said thing. We want evidence, copy and paste. Go to the original videos
and show us
and show the public and show the nation
and say,
don't tell us about them. Let evidence, like people in the courts normally say, let the evidence speak for itself. Don't speak for it. Be quiet as the chairperson. Be quiet as the CRL and go to where the footage is, because what is happening with your SACD footages, these are not a creation, they are not AI. We can take you to the links to say, okay, here's the link. When we speak on what Dr. Maloma is saying, it's not a creation, a figmentation of imagination. We can take you to the link to say, listen for yourself.
This is what he said.
And tell us what you think. But we expected that kind of an exercise.
For me, I was expecting an exposure to say they are going to expose this AI generated material to prove beyond, to say this is fabrication, this is not authentic, this is fake, this is deep fake, this is AI. But the CRL never did that. So we see that everything that the CRL Rights Commission chairperson Togom Kwanazikaluva has been saying, she has been saying it consistently so. From 2017, she's said the very same things. 2015 when she came, she said the very same thing.
There's nothing. I can do a column A and column B where I can show you, from that CRL report of 2017, even this draft, framework for apparently Christian, and show you that this is carbon copy.
It's copy and paste.
It's a copy and paste. So you just change words so that it sounds different. There's nothing different. I am, willing, to be taken to task in that kind of a setup to say, this is column A, this is column B. Let me show you from the 2017 report what this is in the current thing.
So are you saying that the CRL Rights Commission chairperson is the one who's pushing for this legislation?
Yeah, because why is she so,
obsessed.
Invested.
I will use the word obsessed. No longer I will say she's obsessed. Truly.
Yeah.
From 2017, Parliament said no.
And you are like, okay. Hey, by the way, she even blamed Parliament at that time, and Parliament was angry.
I remember the spokesperson of Parliament said, I don't know if the chairperson does not understand her mandate. that the CRL cannot go about proposing legislation. It's out of their domain.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So we want to talk about this framework, right? What do you think that Dr. John Maloma and this Section 22 committee? But by the way, where's Pastor Josh? Isn't Pastor Josh of Rema Bible Church part of the Section 22?
You wonder, where is Pastor Josh?
Yeah.
You hardly see him on this presentation, media statement. I was expecting him at Mill Park.
He was not there?
He was not there.
In KZN, he was not there.
He was not there.
From what I heard.
Yeah.
He was not there.
Why is he not there?
That is the question to us, to say,
Pastor Josh, where were you?
We want you there because you
are part
of the Section 22, and you were there at the launch, and the Section 22 was launched at Rema Bible Church.
Yeah.
And now we are waiting to see you there representing the broader Christian community.
Yeah, and it's so interesting, that the uncles are coming strong. Pastor Hit was former CEO at Rema when we were there in 2019.
Yes.
I can refer to the likes of Pastor Hit, Pastor Bishop Misasono.
Yes.
Your Pastor Art Boshoff,
yes.
And Bert, as Pastor Josh's uncles. And by the way, the person, one of the founders of IFCC, has been Pastor Ray McCauley.
Sure.
Pastor Ray, Pastor Josh's father was founder of IFCC.
Yes.
So the movement that was pioneered by Pastor.
Sure.
is against this. And you are like, and there's something, that I had even Prof. Ulu spoke about. And now it gets interesting when he said, no, within the Section 22, it seems like
there's a cabal.
There's a cabal. There are groupings within that setup. Others are pulling this way and others are pulling the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of late, I've learned that, even the likes of your Shembe people.
Yes.
Yeah, but they will tell us.
They will tell us which side are they pulling.
Yeah, because of we were wondering to say, okay, but you are in KZN. Where are the Shembe people? The leaders at the Shembe, because we've been asking our people on the ground.
You spoke about the advocate, right?
Yeah.
And you spoke about her, that she, the advocate of the CRL, who fumbled during that parliamentary presentation, and they had to retract. The advocate and the chairperson, both of them were just retracting their statements. And I wonder if they officially did it, because they're supposed to do it in writing. But anyway, when you look at it, right, that this thing that is being pushed and that is being proposed, they also, what they said, the advocate, what she said was that health and safety standards.
Yeah.
You speak about the Shembe Church. You speak about the Shembe Church. You speak about ZCC.
Yeah.
And then that draft also speaks about there has to be designated places of worship, isn't it?
Yeah.
And those places of worship have to be safe, according to health and safety standards. Do you think that the Shembe people and ZCC people understand what is actually at risk? Because ZCC churches in the townships.
Yeah, no, what we see.
The state that they are in. We see
they're exposed. We are exposed to
the Shembe churches under the tree and so forth.
Yeah, that's why when they were onboarded, to be part of the Section 22, this raised eyebrows, because I was imagining a situation that if I was in that setup, I wouldn't agree to this Section 22 thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was a proper ZCC person, I wouldn't agree because it will be like scoring own goals. I remember I spoke to, there at Mill Park, I was addressing a Reverend Pete Lekanyane because he chaired our session.
Yes.
And I said, man, Parliament, if you can read that 2018, 14 February 2018 report.
Yeah.
And that conversation, it speaks about commercialization, that churches should not commercialize. As I said it frankly to him to say, man, your home church is commercializing. It's commercializing. What are you talking about? And you are enjoying, you are having fun.
They're selling uniforms.
They're selling. Where have you heard of a uniform at ZCT Church sold at the likes of your normal retail stores? Every product that is used in ZCC churches is produced, from your farm, the tailoring. So the whole supply chain, even to the selling, from ZCC.
From ZCC. And we are not saying that is wrong, right? Because the Catholic Church also sells
their water.
Their water sells
their things, their rosaries.
Yes,
Yeah.
We're not saying it's wrong. We are saying, do they understand what is in that report of commercialization of religion and the so-called abuse of people's belief systems?
Yeah, no, as well as the issue of, we are talking honesty and accountability.
Yeah.
So we have to ask you,
Yeah.
we have to ask you to say, okay, you're talking commercialization. Tell us, why are you selling that church uniform? Where is it produced? I mean, it's colors.
Yeah.
It's khaki color. You can go to any retail shop
And get it.
And get it. It's white shoes.
Yeah.
You see.
You can go at any retail shop and buy
if
them.
it's a church uniform, to say I have the colors correct.
You can buy them at a retail store.
At the retail store anyway.
But it's being sold.
Why are they sold in the church?
Sure.
Because we are fighting commercialization of religion.
Yes.
You see. And if we say abuse, what do we mean by abuse of people's beliefs? Yeah, I remember in Parliament some years back, at 2020, I think it was Dr. Shimikotu raised this matter in Parliament to say, okay, before we can engage on these matters, let's define the concepts. To say, when we say this is a harmful religious practice, what do we mean? Because if we can't define the words we choose to use, we cannot have a conversation. Then he took an abstract and say, people like in the Chinese culture, they eat, snakes at home.
Yes.
And somebody from Soshanguve, Pastor Penwell there, who was flagged by the CRL, is feeding people snake in church.
Yeah.
So help us. What's harmful about eating a snake? Is it eating it at home or eating it at the church? So you see, you have a challenge, a philosophical challenge there. Because if you can address that, on hazardous things, the laws are there. That aspect of, doom has been there, addressed and so on. Prove in that way to say, this is this.
This is harmful.
This is harmful.
And this is where it ends. And the law worked.
It worked.
The pastor was then charged.
Even last year, I think I've recorded, especially after June.
Yes.
I recorded something like 4 to 5 cases where pastors who committed abuses in churches were successfully prosecuted. Successfully prosecuted, for abusing people, sexually and so forth. And then in terms of the definitions of the law on abuse.
And that's what we want.
And that's what we want.
And that's what we pray for. And that's what we advocate for.
We advocate for.
To say the laws are enough.
Enough.
What is an additional law going to do?
What is, and here's the funny one.
The law that we have cannot do.
Yeah. I'm still waiting
because
to be proven.
If you're still going to, the end of it is still going to have people criminally charged, then why is it that you want it's still going to go to the SAPS? It's going to go to the NPA. So still. The logic in it, isn't it maybe to want to interfere with doctrine?
Yeah, they claim, no, it's not about doctrine.
Yeah.
You see, we are just keeping abuses. But when you say abuse, there are definitions of abuse within our current law.
Yeah.
And if you challenge them, what do you mean by abuse? They take you to the concepts that are already available in the current law. And in whatever way they try to maneuver, they even, whatever that they're proposing will create a problem. Because here's the situation. Let's say we have that body that they are proposing, and somebody comes and report to that body that Pastor so and so
did this and
that to me, sexually abused me. Let's take that for an example.
Yes.
What should that body do to say, "Our Mwanamoren, child of God, forgive," because that's what the scripture is saying.
Yes.
Forgive.
Because it's self-regulation.
It's about forgiveness. And forgive, yes, when somebody has done a wrong against you, forgive them and things like that. Should the pastors do that? You are demanding a lot from pastors, which is not aligned even to the competency of their discipline. What should pastors do? Because the minimal that a pastor should do when somebody reports that is to take that child
and take them to the nearest police station.
To the nearest police station.
So we were here, and what do you think that the supporters or the Section 22 and Togum Konazikaluva hope to achieve through this proposal and through this draft framework? What do you think that they are hoping to achieve?
Basically what they want to achieve. They want to achieve what they failed to achieve. It's the CRL. So the Section 22 leaders are just puppets.
Yeah.
Like it's a Trojan horse. They still want to arrive at the same goal that they desired, in the previous, recommendation and report of 2017.
Yeah.
You see, because at that time it did not work. Let's change strategy. This time around, let's
put people.
Yeah, let's get
familiar faces.
Then Trojan
people that
horse.
they might relate with.
I even challenged
people
them.
with titles.
Yeah, we challenged them even that time when we arrived. They say, no, but we are independent.
How can you be independent?
Yeah.
When you are funded.
Yeah.
By state resources, and you give us. I was looking when we went there by their consultations.
Yeah,
they gave us a document with the CRL logo. And they say they are independent.
They're independent.
And I laughed.
And remember,
and they said, this is self-regulation.
Remember, the chairperson even threatened Professor Kulu
with that
logo. So independent people are using the logo.
They are not supposed to use the logo of the CRL without the CRL approval. But independent people have the CRL logo. They have the CRL pens. They have the CRL notebook. They have CRL material. But they are independent people doing self-regulation.
And again, they are saying we have been established according to the CRL Act. Section 22.
Yeah.
That's why you see us here. We've been constituted. Yet they say they're independent. And your section 22(2) says it is the commission that must determine for them, their function, even it may determine their procedure. It is the commission that appoints even a chairperson. So how are you independent from something that determined your function, your leadership? It has powers to even remove leaders, and ways it can revoke the decisions that are made. They have powers to say, okay, Maloma and them, whatever that you came up with, we don't like it, we scrap it. So this is just a good holiday, for those leaders.
Yes.
The Rev Moiran he's been a mayor in the past and is an old man. So a good holiday will do. Running municipality has never been, easy.
Yes.
So put him in good hotels, to relax a little bit. Yeah, but in terms of the value and of what is happening, all they want, like the chairperson has been saying it. You remember even at Kwama Polmolo, she said it with Commissioner Msala, because they were there even with Ubabo Mpiak and so on, saying, and she said, Commissioner Msala, now we are energized.
She said, we are not going to sleep.
We are not going to sleep. We are energized.
Yes.
With what we saw here. We are energized to push for this thing, to push for legislation.
Yeah.
If your traditional healers, have that thing, we want this thing for this ones.
But it's not the same thing.
It's so funny.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it that one for traditional healers was there to promote them?
Now, even that thing of traditional healers is designed to put money in their pockets. To give them a status similar to your Western medicine type doctors.
Yeah.
So that they can sign sick leaves as well, for their clients. They can charge their fees. But it doesn't speak even in depth to their practices and so on.
Because remember what was said at one of the media briefings of the CRL, that this thing of people spending 7 hours in the church, that thing is not a good thing. You see that this is gonna interfere with doctrine. It's going to interfere with doctrine. Yeah. They say they're not going to interfere with doctrine, but the moment you say people are spending a long time in the church, people are spending a long time in the casino.
Yeah.
I was shocked when I discovered, that now in the casinos, they have a daycare.
What?
They have a daycare. So when people are gambling, you can go and pick up your child and come back to the casino and drop your child in the daycare and continue with your gambling.
Sure.
Who's regulating that?
Yeah.
Who's regulating that?
Yeah.
Where was the social development? Where's the social development in that?
Yeah.
Where's the social development in that? Whether a child who is supposed to be at home after school with the family is at the casino. At the daycare. But someone will have a problem when a child is at church.
Yeah.
Is this why so much investment concerning the church? Who has the church killed? Who has the pastors have killed? Why invest so much in the church? Is this a coincidence, what we are seeing? Or do we see that the church is under attack, whereby there are other things that are happening, things that are pressing, things that state resources can be put into instead of giving other people a vacation, right? Because they were mayors and they were this and they were that.
Yeah.
And when we speak about members of the Section 22, who are they representing?
Yeah,
we speak about the former mayor of Mfuleni, who is representing?
Yeah, they say he's having an organization of independent churches and so on. And it's so interesting because I remember there was some months ago, a month or two ago, there was a gathering in Davidton.
Yeah.
Yeah, hosted by Dr. Masilo Munyai and the organization, they call it, Parliament something. Yeah, but like church parliament of some, just I forgot the name. Yeah. Yeah, now discussions in that space were so interesting.
Yeah.
You know, from your likes of your social development, inputs from social development. Hey, it was so interesting. Yeah, issues around registration of churches and things like that. By the way, it's not a must to register a church in terms of the law of the land. They have divided these things into like your 3 categories in terms of the law.
Yes.
You know, what they call your voluntary associations. Because these 3 things, they are calling them voluntary associations. There's that one where you don't need to register, but at least have a constitution and so on, so that you know how to run your affairs and so on. And if you go to the bank, then you can, that constitution will serve that purpose so that the bank knows what is happening within that setup.
Yes.
But if you want certain privileges, then you can have, and you want a legal status of some kind, you can register as an NPC or an NPO. And even for NPO is because you want to access the services that are within social development, because without that, you cannot do that unless you, things like that. But when they come on the media, you know, these people, they are like, no, the churches must be registered, you know, and they don't explain social development. I understand this thing better than even them, you know, saying it must. It's not a must, because even the language of the constitution, you know, on trade, professions, and so on, it doesn't use the word must. It's not a must.
Sure.
It doesn't say you must be registered as a practitioner. But I think, you know, your Section 22, the Kaluvas and them, they are gaining traction because of our ignorance, you know, as leaders. So they are intimidating leaders, you know, from a place of ignorance. Because, you know, in a community of ignorant people, I'm sorry to say that, but we have, anyway, it's a biblical word. You know, the Bible says we perish because for lack of knowledge. So if we don't know, so some people will cash in on that ignorance to push their agendas. You see, so that's why knowledge is important in an engagement. Pastors are threatened to say, you know, if you haven't registered, therefore they will be arrested. The current law, I'm talking the law of the land, doesn't say so. The constitution doesn't say it's a must. You know, to be regulated, it's a must. Yeah, no, it's very much important that, you know, as pastors and leaders, we study, you know, because ignorance is really costing us.
Yes.
Yeah, and especially ignorance on issues that affect us in the nation that are concerning the faith, like this one. You see, one of the things that Umam Kaluva brought, you know, in their presentation in Parliament was a comparison between, you know, the sector, our Christian sector, and the sector of, you know, traditional, you know, healers.
Yes.
And then they say, but traditional healers, they have their act, you know, their Traditional Health Practitioners Act.
Yes.
And therefore, if they have it, why can't these ones have it? But you look at that act, the only benefits for traditional healers, you know, in that space, is that they can at least prescribe, you know, whatever that they want for their clients, and write sick notes for them that are recognized, you know, in places of employment, as well as at least they have found a reason so that when they are charged their fees for consultations, you know, that charging of fees can be protected by law. You know, legalizing collecting money from
Commercialization.
clients, commercialization, legalized commercialization of the space. But now, if you compare what traditional medicine people is saying, that's why you find it within the space of, health. The act is a portion of a division of your health act to say, okay, on the aspect of traditional medicine, this is what they prefer. Yeah, and so on. But now, when you're dealing with health issues, you are not dealing with faith issues or issues of beliefs, but you are dealing with a scientific space where you can test as to if one is using like umhlonyane, or the serokolo or whatever that is prescribed by your traditional health practitioners. Such things, they can be lab tested to say, are they having healing properties? That can assist people in whatever corners. You see, even now with your moringa is popular because of there have been tests that have been done, scientific tests on moringa to say now if your traditional healer recommends moringa to say use moringa, yes, we can test it. But in terms of belief, it is a traditional. We were there at Rema in 2019. I was in a session where one guy who's into traditional African traditional religion was saying, "Mina ngumuntu omoya." And these people are proposing that we have qualification, and he said, "No, we must decolonize, this thing of religion and so on and qualifications." Mina ngumuntu omoya. And then he's saying, for argument's sake, let's say we have a qualification. And you will need to be assessed during exam time. Then how will you assess umoya? To say, okay, moya ukono right. Therefore, you are passing your examination because you have received the right spirit, and according to our qualification standards, you are qualified because you accessed a right spirit. How will you put a spirit in a test tube, or your qualification framework? And it's playing at another field because here's something, within the constitution and the law of the land that is called law of general application. Legally speaking, a church and a political party, they are governed by the same rule. Both of them, they are associations, or of people. And they are called juristic persons because they are organizations, and NPO, NPC, PBOs. One is church, one is a political party. You see? So in that setup, of how they are. Now, the law puts them in the same definition to say these are juristic persons. And it speaks of the law of general application, meaning the principles that apply in one organization in terms of the law, they must apply on the next. You can't expect something here that you don't expect this side. To say, okay, these people can just gather anyway, and these ones, they are not supposed to gather. Because once you do that, you are creating a problem. And it becomes a double standard. That's why on similar things like financial accountability, if you demand it from us, you can demand it from politicians. Same standard, same laws.
Now, I want us to go into this, right? That the CRL did a report. A report 2017. Parliament rejected, made recommendations. Those recommendations lapsed. Right. Then 2024. Then there comes this whereby the church is cited in the national security strategy
Yeah.
as a national domestic threat.
Right.
And the reason being the report
Yeah.
that is put there to say, based on the report that
Yeah.
Parliament rejected, that's why the church has been cited
Yeah.
as a national security
Yeah.
threat.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah. No, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That is a problem. And I liked how, members of parliament engaged on that corner.
Yes.
They even asked them, how is it?
Yes.
There's proximity of the CRL and your state security agency. Why is it easy? That what business do you have
With state security.
security agency as
And-
the CRL?
And there was even one person, if I'm not mistaken, who
Yeah.
even said, I've been,
Yeah.
was it a mayor?
Yeah, mayor, former mayor.
I have been a mayor.
Yeah.
It was only once that I
Yeah.
contacted state security.
Yeah.
But I've never talked with state security. If something is concerning law
Yeah.
intervention and so on, I will talk to the
Relevant people.
which will be the police,
Yeah.
the South African police services.
Yeah.
But I'm going there. But what concerns me is that the church is cited amongst drug cartels,
Yes.
amongst prostitution rings, human trafficking,
Yeah.
and illegal immigration, and then you cite the charismatic church.
Yeah, it's a problem.
And then you mentioned the charismatic church. Then you say the reason being the CRL
Yeah.
report.
The CRL report.
That was
By the way, I'm on page 50 of that report.
yes,
Yeah, I remember the a gathering Kyalami that was hosted by Scientology there.
yeah,
One of the lawyers who was around presenting and so on. I said, man, I heard your input.
yeah,
But here you are not talking to a novice.
Yeah.
I've been around.
Yeah.
Even that report you are citing, it's not new. I've engaged it. I'm on page 50. The man thought I'm joking. Yeah, downloaded that report, went to page 50, saw my face there and said, hey man,
you are here.
you are here.
Yeah.
So we are not taking chances. We are not guessing
Yeah.
and thumb sucking when we
Yeah.
speak to these things. It's a problem because that report in itself, it's a problem. Members of parliament saw what it was, that thing is a problem. And even in that February 14,
Yeah.
of 2018, what parliament said in that report, they never told the CRL to carry out this mandate that they are doing with this Section 22 committee. You see, because it's an overreach. Even if, okay, let's hypothetically say it did not lapse.
Yeah.
And they said the reason they've started the Section 22 committee was to carry out those recommendations from Parliament.
Yeah.
You see? Now, even in the manner that they are carrying, so-called carrying, that, recommendations, they are not carrying it, perfectly so. See, Parliament drew a line between the two. There's something they spoke to as Parliament. They said, no, there's an agreeable position that says, even alluded by the sector to say, no, we don't embrace criminality. We have seen there's been a problem within the sector and so on and so on.
Yeah.
But what we don't want is what CRL is recommending as a solution. And as Parliament, they said, okay, this is how we see that you will better resolve this thing. CRL, here's your job. Organize a national consultative conference for these people. That was the CRL part. And these people will develop for themselves a charter, not a peer review council. A charter. It's specifically written there. A charter for self-regulation, and as well as a code of conduct and other things is to strengthen organs of the state that are responsible for other parts. Now, I heard previously when the chairperson was challenged on that, she said, no, but we did organize a national consultative conference.
Wow.
And a national consultative conference, they did organize it.
Yeah.
But the religious sector and these issues were not a highlight of that engagement, because that engagement on the religious sector was handled a week before.
So it means that this CRL report necessarily it's somehow invalid.
Yeah.
If I would put it.
Yeah, it's invalid.
Because the CRL is making its own resolution, I would say, from what Parliament had recommended. They are not even following what Parliament had
they did
recommended.
not follow
What Parliament
recommended
at that time.
Sure. They were supposed to, national consultative, it's us. Yeah, but because when you bring a Section 22, there's nothing called an independent Section 22 committee.
Pastor, let me love you and let me leave you.
Thank you.
This has been such a powerful engagement. And I thank you for listening and for being part of this. And I thank you, man of God, for coming and for engaging with us and teaching us more about these matters and making us to be observant of what is happening within the CRL Rights Commission. And from me, Pastor Masunyane, what I'm going to say to you is that we are back and we are not backing down. We are going to our provincial Christian march in Limpopo on the 10th of August of 2026, because we are not going to leave this unattended. We are going to fight, we are going to lobby parliamentarians in order for them to be able to understand that the matter that we are dealing with here, it's a matter of national interest concerning the church, and we are not going to back down, and we are not going to lose focus on this. And we are not going to allow anybody else to want to come and to control the church. The church, it is for us. And we will never allow people out of the church to be the ones who will regulate the church. So let us be part of this conversation. Let us be part of the provincial Christian march that is going to be happening in Limpopo. Let us make sure that we are there in our numbers. The chairperson said that we are expecting 100,000 marchers. And that is what we are praying for, and that is what we are expecting. God bless you as you come. Amen.